Finally Friday, it's weather for Weather Geeks time, everyone. Welcome back. Another exciting, in-depth weather video for you as we wrap up the week. It's about halfway through meteorological winter now. Meteorological winter considered to be December, January, and February, the three coldest months of the year. Today, of course, is the 16th, so yesterday marked about the halfway point. Of course, February is a little bit of a shorter month, but we consider yesterday to be about halfway. Here's where the numbers are so far for the winter. Our highest temperature 60, our lowest temperature 4 below zero. And for the winter as a whole so far, we're at plus 0.06 in the temperature department, so actually pretty close to average. Now, this has been balanced out by a warm December, but a cold January. We're at about -6 so far for January. So the numbers have kind of balanced each other out a little bit. Now, if you remember our winter forecast that we put out at the end of October, it called for the winter as a whole to be about 3 degrees below average for the 3 months. So if that forecast is going to work out to be right, we have some work to do. We need the last part of January and most of February to be pretty cold in order for the forecast to verify. The forecast verifying is not the most important thing in the world, but we would like it to work out. Of course, any forecast we want to work out. I'm officially tired of the cold, that said, so I'm kind of hoping for some warm weather despite the forecast. Anyway, as far as precipitation, since December 1st at the Youngstown Warren Airport, 16.1 inches worth of snow. The seasonal snow total, factoring in what happened in November, is up at about 27.5 inches at the airport. Your mileage varies, of course. Amounts are bound to be a little bit lower the farther south you are, a little bit higher if you live up closer to the secondary and primary snow belts up in northern Trumbull and northern Mercer County. All right, here in the 2 o'clock hour on this Friday, it is a partly sunny afternoon, kind of a mixed bag of clouds and sun. Any flurry activity has pretty much faded away with the exception of maybe around I-79 and points east over into Mercer County, heading over towards Franklin, Oil City. Temperatures have probably reached their highest point of the day. Now we've begun to fall a little bit. So we peaked at about 30. Now we're back down to 27 in Youngstown, 29 degrees in Newcastle at this hour. Take a look at the rest of the region. Now the warmth is been building. It's building now. It has been building out across the middle of the country. A bubble of 50s and 60s here. And this is the air mass that's going to get the green light to come east. Now we're not going to be in the 50s and 60s here. But since this air mass is coming east, even though it will modify some, we've got a good shot at 40 or a little higher, perhaps, over the course of the weekend. Still think tomorrow is the better half of the weekend. So let's show you why. We have our next front arriving on Sunday. Let's talk about the wind briefly here for Saturday. Bring up the NAM model wind speeds for Saturday. If you're going to be, outside walking the dog, my dog has got cabin fever for big time, that's for sure. If you're going to wash the car, anything you might want to try to get done on Saturday, it's going to be a nice day, but yes, there's going to be some gusty breezes around, particularly off to our west, but I think there will be some sustained winds that get up in the 10 to 20 mile per hour range and maybe a gust of 30 here and there on Saturday. So breezy day, not exceptionally windy, but breezy nonetheless. As we head into Sunday, that's when our cold front arrives, and let's switch over to Sunday morning. Here's the arrival of the front. This batch of precipitation right here, first thing Sunday morning, may actually be rain. In fact, it probably will be rain, perhaps with a little bit of wet snow mixed in. But then what's behind it, this will be mostly snow shower activity, I suspect, back here. That'll pivot in for the afternoon. So on Sunday, best chance for rain first thing in the morning, best chance of seeing some snow shower activity midday and afternoon. Not expecting any accumulation with that. But that's how Sunday will go. Temperatures may actually fall some then on Sunday afternoon. So we go into next week. Let's take this one day at a time. Here's Martin Luther King Jr. Day on Monday. Pretty big low-pressure system up over eastern Maine. The flow off the lakes a little bit. I suppose there could be a flurry or two on Monday, especially in the morning hours. So we go into midweek then. Here's the GFS model on Tuesday. Has a little clipper system coming through. I suspect the atmosphere is warm enough with this, unless it takes a dramatically different track than is shown now, unless it tracks down here, that we will probably see rain or a snow shower at times with this Tuesday, especially late in the day into Tuesday night. So we'll keep an eye on this. Clippers can be a little bit tricky, but as it stands right now, the models are fairly consistent in advertising a track that would bring enough mild air in that we could see kind of a mixed bag. So again, not looking for any real accumulation in terms of snow with that. It is going to turn a little bit chillier behind that system, but not dramatically so. And then the end of next week is looking pretty quiet. Here's next Thursday, with not much going on at that point. Quick look at the long-range temperatures, or the atmospheric flow, and what kind of temperatures will result. Here's the current 500 millibar pattern, about 18,000 feet up in the air. Good level to look at to see where the ridges and troughs are and that sort of thing. Here's our departing trough off the northeast coast. Little ridge that's going to pop in for the weekend, especially tomorrow, giving us the warm-up. And as you can see, a pretty big trough, Gulf of Alaska, heading down into just north of Hawaii. So that's now. How's this going to evolve as we head through time? Here is 9 days from now, all the way out to the 25th here. And I wanted to show you the long range, the real long range, because the models are starting to really be pretty consistent in advertising a pretty cold-looking pattern next weekend into early in the following week. Big ridge on the west coast. A lot of times when there's a ridge on the west coast, downstream there's a trough. That means around here. And so that looks like a pretty chilly pattern for the eastern third or two-thirds of the country 9 days from now. A little bit beyond that, almost 2 weeks from now, here on the 29th. As you can see, generally the same pattern. Ridge west coast, trough east coast. So while it's too early for any sort of temperature specifics, certainly too early to talk about any opportunities for snow 10 days or 2 weeks from now, overall the pattern is likely to evolve into a pretty cold wintertime pattern for the last 10 days, last week or so of January, perhaps rivaling some of the coldest weather we've had so far this winter. A little too early to say that for sure, but lots of back and forths in the temperature department over the next week, and then it might get more consistently cold, it looks like, the week after that. I hope you have a great weekend. That is Weather for Weather Geeks on this Friday. I'll see you tonight on 21 News at 6 8/11.